The brass bell above the bakery door chimed with a sound so cheerful it felt like mockery. Marcus Thorne paused mid-step, his $700 shoes hovering above the cracked tile floor, suddenly aware how absurdly out of place he was. This wasn't the sterile elegance of his corner office 50 stories above the city. This was the kindness, the neighborhood his urban renewal project was designed to erase. He'd come here on impulse, driving himself for the first time in years, fleeing the suffocating congratulations at the board meeting. Phase 1 approved. Demolition permits secured. Groundbreaking in 30 days. His crowning achievement, they called it. The Thorne District would replace these crumbling streets with glass towers and gourmet restaurants, finally bringing sophistication to this forgotten pocket of the city. But standing in this dim bakery, breathing air thick with yeast and cinnamon, Marcus felt something unfamiliar coiling in his chest. Not triumph. Something closer to vertigo. "Be right with you," called a voice from the back. The bakery was smaller than his bathroom. Display cases held modest rows of bread and pastries, their imperfections somehow appealing, hand-shaped, uneven, real. Photographs covered one wall. Children blowing out birthday candles, elderly couples cutting anniversary cakes, graduation celebrations, all featuring the same gold-encrusted breads and elaborate cakes. Decades of moments, Marcus realized. Decades of memories baked into this place. He was studying a photo of a little girl, gap-toothed, eyes squeezed shut with joy, when the bell chimed again. She entered like a small storm, all forward motion and determination. Maybe 7 years old, in a faded yellow dress that had been mended at the hem. Her dark hair escaped from 2 uneven braids, and she carried herself with the particular dignity of children who've been forced to grow up too quickly. "Mr. Chun," she called out, her voice clear and bright despite the rasp underneath it. The kind Marcus had heard before in hospital waiting rooms. An elderly man emerged from the kitchen, flour dusting his apron like fresh snow. His weathered face transformed when he saw her. Anaya, right on time as always. Marcus stepped back, suddenly invisible, watching this exchange with the fascination of an anthropologist stumbling upon an unknown ritual. "Is it ready?" The girl, Anaya, practically vibrated with anticipation. "Of course, little one." Mr. Chin moved to the case and retrieved a small cake, no bigger than a dinner plate. But what a cake! Even Marcus, who'd cut the ribbon on restaurants with Michelin stars, could see the artistry. White frosting swirled like ocean waves, topped with delicate sugar flowers in shades of purple and gold. A miniature masterpiece. "It's perfect," Anaya breathed. "Mama's gonna love it. Your mother deserves beautiful things." Mr. Chen's voice carried weight Marcus couldn't quite interpret. Sadness? Respect? Both? Anaya reached into her dress pocket and pulled out a small cloth bag. She appended it onto the counter, and coins spilled out, quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies. She began counting with intense concentration, her lips moving silently, small fingers pushing the coins into careful piles. Marcus found himself counting along. $2, 3, 4. The pile grew with agonizing slowness. Mr. Chun watched with infinite patience, his wrinkled hands resting on the counter. Finally, Anaya looked up, her face stricken. $7.42. Her voice cracked. "I thought I had more. I've been saving for 3 weeks. I did extra chores. I found bottle for recycling. Anaya." Mr. Chen's voice was gentle. "Please, Mr. Chun, it's Mama's birthday. She's been so tired lately, and the doctors keep coming, and she tries to smile, but I know she's sad, and I just wanted—" The words tumbled out faster and faster until they collided with tears. Marcus felt something fracture inside his chest. "I'll get the rest," Anaya said desperately. "I can come back tomorrow with—" "Look at me, little one." Mr. Chin waited until she raised her tear-bright eyes. "Do you know what your smile is worth?" She blinked, confused. "Every time you come in here, you light up my whole day. You tell me about your books, your drawings, how you're taking care of your mama. You make an old man remember why he still gets up at 4 in the morning to bake bread." He slid the cake box toward her. "A smile like yours? That's worth more than all the money in this city. But the cake costs." $7.42, he said firmly. Exactly what you have. Anaya stared at him, then at the coins, then back at him. Understanding dawned slowly, followed by a smile so radiant it seemed to fill the small bakery with light. She scooped up $6 and placed them carefully on the counter, leaving the rest. For the tip, she said solemnly. Mr. Chin laughed, a sound like wind chimes. Very professional. Now go on, your mother is waiting. Anaya took the box with reverence, then surprised the old baker by darting around the counter to hug his waist. Thank you, Mr. Chun. You're the best. Give your mother my regards. Tell her the neighborhood prays for her. The girl nodded, suddenly serious again, and headed for the door. As she passed Marcus, she paused and smiled up at him. That same transformative smile. That bread is really good, she said, pointing to a braided loaf in the case. Mama says Mr. Chun puts love into everything he makes. Then she was gone, the bell chiming her exit. The silence felt profound. Marcus stood frozen, his throat tight, his chest aching. Can I help you? Mr. Chen's voice held no judgment, but Marcus felt judged anyway. By the photographs on the wall, by the warmth still lingering in the air, by his own reflection in the display, case glass. That was kind, Marcus managed. What you did. Mr. Chen shrugged. She needed a cake. I had a cake. Simple. You just gave it away. No. The old man's eyes were sharp despite his age. I made a sale. $7.42, plus a smile that will keep me warm for a month. He studied Marcus with sudden intensity. You're him, aren't you? The developer. Marcus felt his spine stiffen. I'm Marcus Thorne. Thorne. Mr. Chin tested the name. Appropriate. You plan to tear this all down. It wasn't a question. Marcus found himself answering anyway. The neighborhood is dying. We're bringing investment, jobs, progress. The word hung between them. That little girl's mother is dying. Cancer. No insurance. Working 3 jobs right up until she collapsed last month. This bakery, this neighborhood. We take care of our own. Mrs. Rodriguez brings soup. The church pays rent. I provide cakes for birthdays because what's a birthday without celebration? He leaned forward. Tell me, Mr. Thorne, what will your glass towers provide? The question hit Marcus like a punch to the solar plexus. I have a daughter, Mr. Chin continued quietly. Had. She moved away 10 years ago. Said the neighborhood was beneath her, that she deserved better. She lives in a tower, not unlike the ones you're building. Beautiful apartment. Expensive furniture. She calls twice a year. His eyes found a photograph on the wall. These people, they're here every day. They bring me their joys, their sorrows. They let me be part of their lives. You can't buy that, Mr. Thorne. You can't build it either. Marcus looked at the photographs again. Really looked. And suddenly he saw it. The invisible architecture connection, more intricate than any blueprint he'd ever approved. The elderly woman who was in 5 different photos across 30 years. The young couple from one wedding picture, now gray-haired in recent shots, surrounded by grandchildren, lives interwoven, supporting each other through time. His renewal project would scatter these people to cheaper neighborhoods, sever these connections, erase this accidental community built through decades of shared struggle and celebration. Progress, he called it. How much? Marcus asked suddenly. What? How much would it take? To buy this building, to ensure you can stay? Mr. Chin smiled sadly. I own the building, Mr. Thorne. Paid off 20 years ago. But I own a single plot in a development zone. Your plans require the whole block. Even if you spare me, you'd take everyone else. Marcus pulled out his phone, staring at the screen without seeing it. His entire career was optimized for this, identifying value, maximizing returns, creating efficiency. He'd perfected the art of seeing neighborhoods as numbers, buildings as assets, people as demographics. But Anaya's smile wasn't a demographic. Mr. Chen's kindness was an asset. The web of relationships preserved in these photographs wasn't on any spreadsheet. The board meeting, Marcus said slowly, Phase 2 hasn't been voted on yet. And phase one could be modified. Mr. Chin raised an eyebrow. What if Marcus's mind raced, reconfiguring, reimagining? What if we build around you? Not displacement, but enhancement. Community spaces, affordable units, protected small businesses. It would be harder, more expensive, less profitable. He looked up from his phone. But maybe that's not the only measure of success. The old baker studied him for a long moment. You do that, rebuild your entire plan. I don't know, Marcus admitted, but I'd like to try. For the first time since entering, he felt like he could breathe properly. The vertigo was gone, replaced by something equally unfamiliar, purpose that had nothing to do with profit margins. Mr. Chin nodded slowly. Then he moved to the display case and retrieved the braided loaf Anaya had recommended. On the house. And Mr. Thorne, that little girl, she comes here every Tuesday. If your new plan works, maybe you could stop by sometime. Tell her she helped design it. Marcus took the bread, warm through the paper bag. I will. Outside, the kindness didn't look different. The streets were still cracked, the buildings still weathered, the afternoon light still filtering through dust. But Marcus saw it now, really saw it. Not real estate waiting to be optimized, but a living thing, imperfect and precious. His phone buzzed. The board, wanting celebration drinks. His VP, pushing for demolition timeline acceleration. Marcus silenced it. He had calls to make, plans to tear up, arguments to prepare for. His proposal would face fierce resistance. He might lose his fight. He might lose his job. But walking back to his car with fresh bread in his hands, Marcus Thorne felt wealthier than he had in 20 years. Because now he understood what Anaya already knew. The most valuable transactions aren't measured in dollars. They're measured in smiles, in kindness, in the invisible currency of community that makes us human. He'd been paid in full. And somehow, impossibly, it was enough.